Hi guys, welcome back to The Social Tune, and today we're finally going to be talking about the new album by the indie rock band Spoon, Hot Thoughts.
It's just that I've been down so long, I gotta give me my world. Can I sit next to you? Can you sit next to me?
So do you remember recently when I reviewed Odyssey's album The Iceberg, where I said that he wasn't trying to be overly ambitious with his albums? This has led to an incredibly consistent discography with really no missteps, but no real classics either. He will never be defined by one album because that's never been his goal. Well, Spoon is basically the indie rock version of that, a UK band who would probably laugh in the face of anyone trying to call them remotely deep or even a classic act. Their goal has always been to make great music that they love. And their discography is also ridiculously consistent. So when it came time to review it, I sat back to enjoy yet another typical Spoon album, except it's not so typical. In fact, this album has them taking their sound in a very weird direction that I definitely didn't see coming. Now, it's still really good, but it's definitely unexpected. And the place to start is the production.
Tell us now, little man, what's what? You're the one that had to go show this stuff on. You're the one that brought a shotgun. Yes, you went and brought a shotgun.
Okay, so here's where this album kind of caught me off guard, because if you're going into this expecting just another indie rock record, prepare to be surprised, as this album pulls a lot more from new wave and electronic music with some jazz elements thrown in for good measure. Yeah, it's a weird mix, but it really does work for some reason. And that's because they really know how to mix these instrumentals well so that you can hear every single individual one. Most of the time. Because yeah, this album does have its overindulgent moments that really didn't make much sense to me. Take the closer, Us. Sure, the horns on there are pretty and atmospheric, but they do get old really fast. The song honestly could have ended after its first fade out into silence, and it would have been much better for it. But I will say that some of these songs have some fantastic instrumental choices. Like take the electronic elements blending with the guitar on Whisper and I Listen to Hear It, not to mention the new wave breakdown and the crescendo that had so much swell to it. Or take the bells, drums, and unforgettable riffs of the title track with one of the catchiest hooks that I've heard in a while. In fact, to me, it's very reminiscent of Dark Necessities by the Red Hot Chili Peppers, which is a high compliment. Or take the sharper grooves of Shotgun, which is bound to become a favorite anthem for a lot of the fans of the band. It's a great song. Hell, the most indie song on this album is First Caress, with the weird vocals, the bass guitar, the drums, and the Talking Heads-esque chorus. Or you get the rock and roll feel of Tear It Down, with the great multi-tracking and the jaunty pianos and guitars, not to mention the drums on the bridge. Now honestly, while this sound really did catch me off guard, if you stop to think about it for a moment, it does actually make sense. They've been expanding their sound for years now. They've claimed that they've been listening to a lot of Prince, which would have influenced the new wave stuff. And as for the electronic touches, look no further than the producer, Dave Fridman, who some of you may know as the guy who produced Purple by Baroness. Now I love Dave Fridman, and Purple is a great album, so I really don't have that many problems with a lot of the instrumental choices here. Although, while I didn't really care much for Us, I flat out disliked Pink Up. A song that I understand within the context of the album, but I just didn't like it. I'm sorry, it just felt way too much like a Flaming Lips song to me. And if I'm being brutally honest, Britt Daniel didn't really impress me much here either.
And now we're never gonna meet, but I feel you anyway. Yeah, I feel you today. Let them build a wall around us, I don't care, we're gonna tear it down.
Now don't get me wrong, I really do like the guy. His vocals are as sharp as ever, especially on the more visceral tracks like Hot Thoughts and Shotgun. And I also really like him on Tear It Down, First Caress, and the spacey I Ain't the One. But on some of these tracks, either due to bad mixing or just a lackluster vocal delivery, he didn't really impress me here. He just sounded unlikable and whiny on Do I Have to Talk You Into It, which of course is the point, but it didn't make it any less irritating. He was drowned out by the instrumentation on Whisper and I Listen to Hear It, and especially Pink Up. And he seemed to have no investment on Can I Sit Next to You, which again may have been the point, but it's still an issue. So let's stop dancing around it. What is this album about?
Tight, twisted inside, hot thoughts all in my mind and all of the time, babe. Hot thoughts all in my mind and all of the time, yeah.
Okay, so like on all of their other albums, Spoon isn't here to blow your mind with a grand concept, so really this album only took a couple of listens to really decipher. Basically, it's your imagination versus reality. Like take Hot Thoughts, where our protagonist is cool and smooth, running his kingdom, which the instrumentation definitely mirrors. And yet later on the album, on songs like Can I Sit Next to You, you see that our protagonist is an awkward shut-in who has no idea how to talk to women. From the girl turning down his advances on I Ain't the One, to her calling him out on how pathetic his hypermasculine bravado is on Shotgun, basically saying, "What now, bitch?" This album's writing really does show the self-awareness and intelligence that we've come to expect from the band at this point. It really doesn't disappoint in this department. Now with that said, even though this is a concept we can all relate to, I will say that I wish they'd gone a bit deeper into it. And if you're asking what more could they have done with that concept, well, if that's the case, then that's a problem. They should have asked themselves that question before sitting down to make this album. And again, this is nowhere close to bad, but for me, this was one of the first Spoon records that I didn't love on first listen, and I'm really starting to see why. It just feels a little half-assed to me. However, with all of that said, it's still Spoon. They're still a great and incredibly consistent band, and the fact that I'm saying that this is probably one of their worst albums speaks volumes about their quality, because it's still really good, getting a 7 out of 10 from me. I guess I just wanted more hooks, a bit more consistency, and a bit of a deeper dive. That's all. So thank you guys for watching. If there are any other albums coming out in the next month or so, well, I actually have quite a bit on my schedule at the moment, but if you think there's anything I've missed, please post it in the comments or tweet it at me so I can listen to it and possibly review it. You'll find a link to my Twitter in the description. Feel free to follow me if you'd like. Please subscribe so you don't miss a thing, and until the next time, I'm Finn, and this is The Social Tunes, signing off.